Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Pikel with League of Items, and today I wanted to discuss the 6 items that I believe are the most likely to shape the meta when the new items come out. So we're just going to I'm gonna list them all in without order, without an order, and then I'm gonna try to figure out which one I think is going to be the actual best. I have an idea of which one I think it is. But first, let's talk about some of the items that I'm not going to talk about. Gale Force and Duskblade of Drakthar, I think, are going to be the two trap items to start off. So when you see something like invisibility, or when you see something like invisibility or the dash for an 80 carry, like intuitively it makes a lot of sense. But I think that the overwhelming strength of some of these other items is just going to outclass it and be easier to play around. Another item that I think is definitely in consideration is Sunfire, or Sunborn Cape or whatever, and Frostfire Gauntlet. Those are going to be very popular items, but they're not necessarily going to be the most impactful in terms of shaping the meta. They're more like responses to the meta. So let's go with the first item, Everfrost. So Everfrost, you get it costs 3,400 gold, and you receive 80 ability power, 200 health, 600 mana, 10 ability haste, and an active, which is Frigid Blast. Deal 100 magic damage in a cone, slowing enemies by 65% for 1.5 seconds. Enemies at the center of the cone are rooted instead. So this is an upgraded version of the Hextech item, in my opinion, because not only do you have the ability to slow an enemy, this could also be like a glacial augment item, but at the same time, it also can root now. So there's just the added utility of this item, and the thing that's going to be looked over the most, I think, is the Mythic passive, which is 15 ability power on all other legendary items. So if you rush this item, you're instantly getting the utility of the active. You're getting 80 ability power, which is pretty good compared to the other AP items that are out there. And you're also getting 200 health, which is very good in the early game for trades, because health is better than resistance early on. Let's take a look at the other AP items. So we'll just sort largest to smallest. So that's not there anymore. Okay, so Horizon Focus and Nashor's Tooth both have 100 AP, as long as my numbers are correct. Rylai's and Demonic Embrace both have 10 more AP. But at the end of the day, I think that the utility of Everfrost is going, and the utility of Everfrost and the scaling component of Everfrost. So once you have a 3-item build, you're going to have more AP on Everfrost. And this doesn't keep you from building those other items either. Like you could build Everfrost plus a death cap, and you would have a ridiculous amount of ability power. I don't know if that's going to be practical when it's all said and done, but I think that out of the AP items, the one that I'm the most excited about and think has the best chance of impacting the meta is Everfrost. And since it's on the screen, let's just go to Demonic Embrace. So Demonic Embrace is a scary item because it's going to give tanks a ridiculous amount. Well, not tanks, like these hybrid kinds of champions, a ton of extra tankiness. So 90 ability power, 350 health, Azakana Gaze. Dealing ability damage to a champion causes them to take 2% of their maximum health as magic damage every 4 seconds. So that's very similar to the old Leandries, right? And the new Leandries. So we have a new item that's going to drain the enemy. But this is the part that's kind of ridiculous. You gain 20 armor and magic resistance for the duration, as well as 5 armor and magic resistance for each additional champion affected. And I think that I ran the numbers on this. Demonic Embrace, yeah. So when you have one enemy champion impacted, it's 760 additional value including the 20. So it's 760. Then it goes up to 950 with 2, 1140 with 3, and if you impact the entire enemy team, actually no, yeah, if you impact the entire enemy team, it's 1330. So if you get the dot on the 5 enemy champions, you're going to have 1,330 additional value out of this item. And why is that impactful? So if we look at Demonic Embrace's basic statistics of 90 ability power and 350 health already return 2,891 in base value and is 96% base efficient. So any ability damage done to an enemy champion makes this item like worth probably 130 or 140%. So let's do 12, 2891, 2891 plus 760 divided by 3,000 is equal to 121%. So let's do the ceiling scenario. So 28 plus 1330 equals divided by 3,000. At best, at its peak, I think we're getting 140% value, and it's an easy thing to play around. That's the part of it that is kind of scary to me. Like, it's not very difficult to think of situations in team fights where you can get a dot onto multiple champions. Like if you're, I don't think Zyra. This isn't the item that this is not an item that's intended for Zyra. But she could probably do this very easy. A champion like Maokai would be able to proc this with no problem because he has a ton of AoE abilities. So that's just pretty insane. It's also going to be very good on jungle champions. So this could be good for like Sejuani or Gragas, Nunu. A lot of these champions that will take advantage of the ability power and the health. Some more than others. Obviously, ability power is different on different champions, but overall, really strong item. And just the innate tankiness that it gives. It's basically like giving somebody a nerfed aftershock. And I'm not sure what the cooldown is on this thing, but it looks like there's no cooldown. So anytime that you get this, anytime that you get ability damage onto somebody else, you're going to have your tank stats increased, and that's very good. All right, let's go to the next item. Let's do Kraken Slayer. So when I originally looked at these items, obviously the first item that I looked at was Gale Force, because that was one of the first items that people started talking about. But Gale Force, Immortal Shield Bow, and Kraken Slayer are going to be tied to one another inevitably, right? So Gale Force, the thing that makes this item unique is the active. You get the 3% move speed on the Mythic passive, which is probably it's just not as good as 10% attack speed, in my opinion. I'd rather have attack speed all day, because as an AD carry, you're most likely going to have champions that are supplementing your move speed with shields and peeling for you, so I'm not really that worried about that. Immortal Shield Bow is very interesting because this is the kind of item that could make like Jinx or Aphelios extremely powerful in a specific meta where you have almost all of your damage on one champion that scales super hard and you just build the entire team around it. It's definitely possible, but I don't think it's the most likely outcome. The most likely outcome is that everybody loves the stat stick. So Kraken Slayer, 3,400 gold, 60 attack damage, 25% attack speed, 20% critical strike, and every third attack is enhanced, dealing an additional 85 true damage. And then to make it even better, the Mythic passive grants all other legendary items 10% attack speed, which is crazy. So let's take a look at what those values look like. Kraken Slayer. Kraken Slayer, without the true damage, without the on-hit true damage, or without the conditional true damage, and without the additional attack speed, it's already over 100% in regards to base stat efficiency, which is, just a good metric to make sure you're spending your money the right way. But once we get the attack speed involved, even at the 2-item spike, right? So even after 2 items, you're probably looking at about 120. Did I do that right? Because it's going to be about 4,000 in stats divided by 3,400. That's 117%. Once you have your 3 item core, and the 3 item core is a good thing to like project yourself into the game, because that's why you like go that direction with the champion. Like you're not just gonna wing it, or at least you shouldn't be winging it. So yeah, Kraken Slayer I think is going to be the best out of the 80 carry items in terms of how how it helps shape the meta, because not only do we have Kraken Slayer, we also have Ginsu's Rage Blade. So Ginsu's plus Kraken Slayer is going to be an option for a lot of different 80 carries, like more so than it normally is. And it'll still do a ton of damage to everyone else because you have the true damage. That's going to be proccing every second attack, not third attack. Just very good item overall. So let's go to the next item. Kraken Slayer. Trinity Force. Trinity Force is interesting. They brought down the cost of the item to 3,333, 35 attack damage, 35% attack speed, 200 health, 10 ability haste. So we still have a lot of diverse stats being given by Trinity Force, which is one of the reasons why it's good on so many champions. And then we have Swift Strikes and Spell Blade. So your attacks grant you 25 move speed for 3 seconds. If the target is a champion, additionally gain 3 base attack damage for 3 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Max 16 AD. And it looks like that's a scaling value based off of your base attack damage. So champions with higher base attack damage are going to have even better time with Trinity Force now. And then Spellblade, after using an ability, your next attack deals bonus physical damage equal to 200% of base attack damage. So again, scales off of base attack damage. If I make a video specifically about Triforce, I'll do that calculation on base attack damage and find the best champions for Trinity Force, and then you'll see or based off of base damage, best champions that can use Trinity Force the best based on their attack damage, based on their base attack damage. That's where we're going to go with that. And then again, we have the Mythic passive is 15% attack speed. So let's go into the calculator. And without everything else being taken into consideration, Trinity Force is 91% efficient, 3,033 gold. But we have Swift Strikes and Spellblade, which are both obviously worth enough to get it back to 100% efficiency. And then we have the upside of the 15% attack speed. So once you get your 2-item spike, it's plus 750. So let's even do... 4,000 divided by 3,400 again. 4,000 divided by 3,333 is equal to 120%. And it scales. That's the thing that I want to emphasize, is that as the game goes on, if you're a split pusher like Jax and you get your Trinity Force, not only does it unlock your champion, it also is going to help you scale long term. So you can feel really good about building this item first. The build path is easy. Once you finish the item, you get a big spike, and then as the game goes on, you continuously scale. So that's going to be very impactful, and that's why I think it's going to be one of the items that shapes the meta. So we did Everfrost, we did Kraken Slayer, we did Trinity Force, we did Demonic Embrace, and now we have the 2 items that I'm the most excited about. Moonstone Renewer and Staff of Flowing Water. If I had to guess, if I had to bet money on it, I think that Moonstone Renewer and Staff of Flowing Water are the 2 items that are the most likely to receive nerfs because the effects are too strong. I think Ardent Sensor is right there as well, and for that reason, I think that we could be going towards like a support meta where we have more supportive champions, more shielding champions than we've ever really seen in a metagame. So Moonstone Renewer, 150 health, 25 ability haste, 100% base mana regen, Vital Stream. When affecting champions with attacks or abilities in combat, heal the most damage nearby ally for 30 to 60 health. It's a 2-second cooldown. Each second spent in combat with champions increases this healing effect by 37.5% to a maximum of 150%. So that means that when you're in combat, instead of healing for, like in the beginning of the game, 30, it'll be 30 times 1.5. So it'll be 45 health. And then at the end of the game, it'll be 90 health. 90 health is a lot. And the reason why it's going to be so impactful is because it's when you're affecting champions, so they're not specifying allies or enemies with attacks or abilities in combat. So anytime you're doing anything, anytime that you're doing anything in a team fight, you're going to you're going to be regenerating health. So you're going to be regenerating health, probably dealing damage. Maybe you're healing with other abilities. Maybe you're shielding your teammates. It's just pretty insane. Like, and then you also get the ability haste. I'm not too worried about the ability haste, but I'm very interested to see how this item performs, because it should be extremely good. But let's take a look at what it says in the item calculator. Moonstone Renewer. So in order for this item to be worth it, that passive needs to be worth 1,000 gold. Well, in order for this item to be worth it, that passive needs to be worth 1,000 gold minus whatever the value of that ability haste is at whatever point in the game. And I think that it will be good enough. Just think about how much this helps laning phase even. It's going to be a supportive item. It's meant for team fights. It's meant to like help support an Aphelios or a Jinx or like an immobile AD carry that you just want to make unkillable. So like imagine your team has an AD carry with Immortal Shield Bow plus Moonstone Renewer plus a like support champion plus peel from some other role. It just seems incredibly good. So I am concerned about this item, but Staff of Flowing Water is really where it's at. Staff of Flowing Water is most likely the best item in the game when this goes live. So actually, let me change that. They changed the cost of the item to 2,300. So Staff of Flowing Water, 60 ability power, 10% heal and shield power, 100% base mana regen, and Riptide. Healing or shielding an ally grants you both 15% movement speed and between 20 to 40 ability power for 3 seconds. So this is not really an item that you're going to automatically think to yourself in solo queue, like, I'm a support, I have an AD carry, I'm going to build Staff of Flowing Water, and it's going to be amazing, because a lot of AD carries can't take advantage of the ability power. But if you're a team that builds around this item, that's where we have to consider how good it's going to be. So let's take a look at the numbers. Staff of Flowing Water. Okay, so based off of the stats alone, right, the generic stats that we're getting, 60 ability power, 10% heal and shield power, and 100 base mana regen, that's 94% gold efficient, 2,159 worth of base stats. So Riptide needs to be equal to 141 in order for this to be an item that can justify being purchased, right? And then let's think about this in two different scenarios. So first up, where's this coming from? R2. Okay. So 15% movement speed and between 20 to 40 ability power. So I based this off of the ceiling, where you're getting 30% because it's you and one ally, and then ability power of 40 for you and 40 for your ally. That's going to require level 18. There's a lot of conditions, but just think about how strong that is. 15% move speed plus 40 ability power on 2 champions. So 30% move speed for your team, 80 ability power for your team. That's worth 2,925. So 2,925, where'd my phone go? 2,925 plus, what we say, 2150-ish is 5,075 divided by 2,300, which is the cost of the item. That's 220% gold efficient when you meet that very easy condition. And maybe you're thinking to yourself, like, well, I'm not excited by giving my teammate ability power because I can't trust that I'll have a champion on my team that's going to be able to use the ability power, right? So then you just do it as move speed, or you can just do it for yourself. So instead of thinking of it as 2,925, you can think of it as 1,462 for each champion that is taking advantage of this. And I don't know if you can use this on multiple allies yet. That's the next thing that I would have to test. If you can, then we're back into the Ardent Sensor territory where it's just absolutely broken, and we're going to see somebody like Lux or Karma just dominate the meta because they can shield multiple teammates. Soraka can heal multiple teammates. And even this will probably also work with Moonstone Renewer. So Moonstone Renewer plus Staff of Flowing Water, bam, we did it. We figured it out. We broke the meta. So that's really where I think the meta is going to go, and I'm pretty sure that some of these items are going to be nerfed. So if I had to rank them, it's going to be Staff of Flowing Water, Moonstone Renewer, and then everything else. Kraken Slayer is up there as well. But that's basically it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this item stuff. I know it's not for everybody, but for the people out there who actually appreciate this kind of stuff, I know that they're as excited as I am about the items, and that's who this is really for. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.